Welcome back to the Just Build Baby studio for the next BuildX Podcast, where we explore everything about building better homes, smarter spaces, and the future of residential construction. I'm your host, Buzz Artiano. Today, we're excited to have Jesus Barroso with us here today. Jesus is the CEO of Advanced Green Installation since 2012, and super excited to hear you. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Absolutely. So, first 3 to 5 minutes, we usually talk about you and how great you are. So we're going to do that now.
For sure.
Okay?
Let's do it.
So tell us a little about yourself, how you got started in the industry, where your business is at, et cetera, and I'll probably redirect on a couple questions.
For sure. Yeah. I've been in the business since 2007. Actually, I started in 2007 installation. You know, one thing I said was, you always have to look back when you start. That's the beauty of the life. And of course, all my experience with installation, I started with Anderson Installation. I got hired by Anderson Installation. I got hired by Anderson Installation in 2007.
As an installer?
As an installer. And I started my bottom down all the way up. I was a helper. In 2012, I left Anderson as a crew leader, and I started my business under the deck in Rockland 2012. Just me and myself and I, put it this way.
Okay, so you were selling, running the truck, installing, you were doing the whole nines.
I was selling, installing, I was answering the phone, when I have a money in account, doing payroll for myself,
Sure.
and
Yeah.
pay a supply, buying, and do everything you can imagine.
Yeah. And I bet there's some days you look back and they say, boy, that was fun.
Yeah. Can I tell something? It's for sure. Yep, that's true.
I know that feeling.
Yeah.
All right, so take me from 2012 to today, the progression. You know, you started obviously on the truck yourself. Tell me about, you know, your first hires and, you know, where we are today and how many crew teams you have and et cetera.
For sure. So I literally remember for my first hire. In fact, I still have those two guys I hired since the beginning still with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So 12 years.
12 years.
13
years. It's going to be 13 years. Actually, 13 years in this month.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting 13 this month. And I started, you know, thank God I had an opportunity to start. I started this company with $8,000, and I bought an old truck, and I hired two guys, and they helped me to build this company since the beginning, Diego and Rodrigo. So,
all right, shout out.
Yeah, Diego Garuz and Rodrigo managed. They are awesome guys.
Nice.
Diego is an operation, and Rodrigo is just one of my crew leader, the best guy, top notch in the field.
So, but when they started, they were with you installing.
They with me installing.
They're doing everything.
Everything.
Bringing stuff in the warehouse, the job, cleaning up, changing the oil in the truck, the whole 9 yards.
Everything. We had a time. I remember like today, we have a time to start. We start at 6 in the morning and end the job. Time to finish when you finish the job. 7 days a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good. We learned a lot. And the good thing is, but have the hands in the process, see the company grow.
Yep.
So, and the crazy part is, we had a lot of people just, they would sit on the table with us, but they didn't believe in.
Customers, you mean?
Customers.
Yeah.
Customer and some potential employees as well. They didn't believe in.
Yeah,
they didn't believe in.
Potential new employees.
Exactly. They didn't believe in the
Yeah. They didn't
growth.
see the vision.
Actually, they didn't believe in my dream.
Sure.
My dream was to build a strong company to support my family and help others. You know, like we do. We a big support out there. We support a lot of families, more than 220 families, and we deliver a clean and solid plotting for our customer. That's what we do.
So, two guys, one truck. That's 2012.
2012.
So then, how did we get to today? Just give me a quick rundown. Like, you know, what were the biggest milestones? Like, you went from being on the truck to just selling to just running. Like, take me through that progression.
Oh, but trust me, it was a lot of things happen. So 2012, I was doing everything. Then the business asking to put more people in, and of course, you know, the money is out there, it's in the field. So I hired a couple of guys to help me on the office, just the back engine to help me get things going, and unfortunately, 2013, 2014, 2015. And unfortunately, I had a guy, and he's helped me in the business, which
A mentor?
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But you gotta be careful with some mentor. I'm telling for a lot of people, that's one thing. Be careful. Mentor can help in you, but they not everybody, but some mentor can have a crazy bad intention.
Well, all of that, they have their own limiting beliefs,
Exactly.
right? So,
And they can shift things
Yeah, yeah.
in the other way.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's exactly what's helped me in between 2015 and 2018. I had one guy, and he almost took me out of the business.
really?
Yes, with
Okay.
his bad intention.
Yeah, yeah. So you
was-
learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson.
Right.
Hard, very hard.
Most lessons as you own a business, most lessons are hard.
Exactly.
Not too many come easy, right?
Exactly.
But you'll never make that mistake again.
Never make that mistake. and be cautious, If
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
just
Hire slow, fire fast.
high, low, and fire fast. One
Right.
thing is, if you having someone, you think a choice and a weekend to fire, just fire.
Unfortunately, it's true.
Unfortunately,
So
it is.
we got rid of that person. So now we're in 2018.
2018,
Yeah.
and then I found my business complete upside down. And
Okay.
I
So starting over.
starting over. Starting over with a big overhead.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is it's danger.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
heavy because when you start from the scratch, we don't have no overhead.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose. But when you do in 2018, I had like a
Yeah, truck payments.
truck payments,
shop,
and
insurance,
and
guys looking for a check
guys,
every week, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember one day in 2018, I said, I'm gonna give up. I'm a type of person I don't like this give up thing. I don't.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not giving up.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
you-
give up person.
Right. But you thought about that for an hour.
Yeah. I say why? I actually my thing. Why I'm doing this?
Yeah, yeah.
It's so stressful, and it's hard to believe in people. Hard
Yeah.
to trust people, and I say, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give up. And then I was walking. I'm walking out. I was going home, and I saw Rodrigo come to me. He's come.
Your first guy.
My first guy.
Yeah, yeah.
He said, "Hey, are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, fine." And he looked me, and then I walk away. He's calling me by the name. He said, "Jesus, whatever just going on in your mind, remember, I'm with you."
That's awesome.
And I said, "Why you?" I looked and I said, "Why you say that to me? You ruined my plan. I was about to give up." And I said, "Okay." I said, "You sure?" He told me, "Listen, I've been with you since the day one, and I'm gonna never turn my back. I'm always gonna be with you."
That's awesome.
And I found myself with a lot of debt, a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot, and my company upside down. And I said, you know what? The best solution for whatever just here as Altibas, the best solution when you find yourself in upside down, just put yourself to work.
Yep.
That's the best thing.
Go sell something.
Go sell something. Just go sell something.
Yep.
Find a way to do it. Be honest.
Yep.
Hard days is gonna hit you, but
Yep.
one day is gonna.
So
go
what's
away.
that time frame? 12 hours you were thinking that? 24 hours?
I was thinking about 24 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And then
And the next day, and the next couple of days, and I saw it. A light under the tunnel. So you know what? I'm gonna work hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna find a way to pay my debt.
there you go.
Been in the business for 13 years, Buzz, and I never let my guys go home on Friday without them check.
There you go.
And always my vendors got paid.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't owe a penny for anybody out there.
Yep.
And be honest. Hey, listen. The phone was made to be called and receiving making call. If you're not able to pay a guy today, just put a call on him. So listen, my payment's gonna show up a little bit late, but don't worry, I'm gonna pay you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's simple like that. Just simple like that.
Right.
And 2018 was downhill. 2019 we had a COVID, Corona.
beginnings of it, yeah.
Beginning.
Yeah.
And honest to you, I had a chance to lay off on a lot of guys, but I didn't lay off one single person. And 2019 was a great year. 2020. Today, 2025, we have 220 guys. 2020, I bought my first building in Rockland,
2020?
2020.
So from I've given up, 2 years later.
2 years later.
Yeah.
From giving up, 2 years later, I paid off all my debt.
There you go.
I grow my business. I restored my confidence,
Yeah.
which is very important
Oh,
to
yeah.
be in the business.
Yeah.
Without you can do anything.
Yeah.
And I bought my first building in Rockland for $6.5 million.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I bought my building, my
Yep.
own building. I
Nice.
was looking for rent. So, oh, you know what? I'm going to rent something. And they say, instead I'm rent, why am I going to buy something? And then I say, you know what? I'll do it. I bought the building. And when I bought the building in Rockland, when you do something new, you're excited to share with the friends, right?
Sure.
And I call a friend and say, hey, listen, you know what? I'm gonna say, I'm a type of person, I don't like to expose my life a lot.
Yeah.
But I say, you know what? I'm very excited to share something with a friend of mine. So listen, I bought a building. He say, oh my God, I hope you didn't pay much. He say, I paid $6 million. Yeah. It was like 7 p.m. at night.
Yeah.
He said, oh, I don't know if you know, but the market is gonna crash. Okay. I got 3.4 interest in the building.
Wow. That's a great rate.
It's a great rate. They said, oh, the market gonna crash. So whatever you pay in this building in 2 years or less than that, it's gonna work half you paying today. So God, I literally just shwad $3 million. I was this.
Yeah, but what did you learn from that? That's his trash, right? It's not your
Exactly.
trash. It's his trash. So he's afraid.
He's afraid.
And he's trying to put that afraid on you.
And one thing I learned was just advice. You only have to accept advice for someone
Who's doing better than you.
otherwise.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
And now you know what? I remember like today was Friday, and Saturday morning I took all my guys and we went to this building.
Awesome.
Went to this building. Actually, there was no key for the building. We have to broke the door, and the building was like kind of abandoned building. It's like falling apart.
Oh, so it was in rough shape when you got it.
Woo, just tell me about rough shape.
Okay.
It's horrible shape. And we demo everything. Actually, we just demoed a bunch of things. We did some paint. We
cleaned it up.
We cleaned it up. We did a bunch of things in the building. And so you know what? I say, God, doesn't matter what people said. If this build we're gonna work $3 million 2 years down the road, I'm gonna be in the build. Don't matter. It's for myself.
Correct.
I'm gonna occupy the build.
Sooner or later it'll come back.
Sooner or later come back. It's gonna come back. And I did a bunch of things. So as everybody know, the market didn't crash. 2 years later, we bought a second building in Hooksett. We own a building in Hooksett. Actually, 2 years, and the following year, 2020, I just opened a distributor. I'm on a distributor. We are one of the big supplier insulation in the state.
Yeah, I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold that thought. So I'm going to get to that. So first building, then you bought a second building 2 years later.
2 years later.
Okay. And now how many buildings do you have? Just the two now?
No, we have another one. We own a building in Abington, one of the large building we have in our portfolio, 85,000 square feet in Abington. We just recently bought this building last year.
Okay.
So.
And that's where your distributorship is?
That's we started the distributor.
Got it.
So we distribute insulation product for everybody. So we don't see others as a competitor. We help them.
We're going to hold that. I'm going to get to that because that's an interesting philosophy.
Oh, yeah.
That not a lot of people have. So now it's today. We're at 2025, and you have 220 people. You have a bunch of projects going. So let's take through what businesses you own now. So again, you started in 2007 on the truck.
2012.
No, but
for Anderson Installation.
I started 2012. You started your own business.
Yep.
13 years later is today.
13 years later.
Okay,
yep.
So you started with insulation as advanced green, right? And then you added other products. So when did you start the distributorship?
I started distributing in 2020. I started my distributor.
Okay.
So.
And you ran it originally out of the first building?
Actually, I did not. because I found, you know what, let me separate one thing to the other.
Okay.
We just rented a building in town.
Okay.
We had a building
When you
in town
started it.
when I
Yeah.
started over there, because I felt, you know what, let me separate it. It's
Sure, yeah,
separating
yeah.
people and separating
Yeah, you gotta
everything. That way
prove-
I can be able to see it.
Yeah, and you want to prove it's going to work too, right?
Exactly. You gotta
Yeah,
take a
yeah.
chance. Exactly. Otherwise, one thing gonna bring in the other.
Yeah,
one
yeah.
down.
You never know, right?
You never know. You never
Right.
know.
So I noticed in your philosophy is once you started that distributorship is you're selling the actual spray foam, the training. You have a lot of, tell me about all that. And with your, you have a lot of competitors that come there to your trainings and all that. So tell me how you developed that philosophy.
Yes, the big, of course, you have to have a profit in business. You have to talk about profit. But one thing, why I started the spray foam, NASPA distributor, because everybody can buy a truck and start doing spray foam tomorrow. Spray foam, it's not it's different. It's a very delicate product. You can ruin your house doing spray foam.
Oh yeah.
You have to know what you're doing spray foam. So, and I found myself compete with a lot of guys. They never heard about spray foam. The only thing they know about spray foam, just Google it. Took a couple of classes, and all right, I'm capable enough to do spray foam. And they never been in a spray foam truck. They never know how to calibrate a machine. And every time you need a certificate, you need to be trained, you have to fly all the way to California and Las Vegas, Texas. There is no class around here. No one talk about spray foam. And so you know what? Let me start something together. So instead of putting class, I'm gonna have a class with a good product. I'm gonna sell the best product, and I'm gonna help my competitor. I wanna make sure whatever machine out there is pump spray foam is gonna be up to date, because it's very important. So you have to know how to calibrate the machine. You have to know how to adjust the machine, and you have to have someone to build the truck, especially for our climb zone. No winter, we below zero. So if the foam below zero, you're gonna spray foam offer shield, and offer shield product can create a smell and bunch of things. And that company we created help others, help my competitor, which I'm not looking at them as a competitor. I don't. I help them to do it a better job. I'm okay, boss, and put a pricing and someone given a better pricing for Joy customer. I'm okay with that. Sometimes I'm not able to compete. You know why? Because of my overhead, it's a little bit bigger. Oh, geez, I'm paying for your facility. No, it's not. But end of the day, I have a little bit more overhead than others.
Sure.
We own a building.
Yeah.
I have a lot of people in the office. My insurance, it's like $5 million umbrella. So end of the day, and Joy start yesterday, they don't have none of this. But I want to make sure Joy and the truck have the same quality Jesus have in a big company. You know why? Because I'm going to make sure this guy, the truck, going to be trained by me.
Good.
Because end of the day, if that small guy in the truck start to ruin the spray foam business, I'm going to hurt myself, and so I'm going to hurt my family. I'm going to hurt somebody else's family. So that's why we focus on that a lot. Make sure we're going to train others. Make sure the machines and my competitor's truck is going to be able to pump quality foam.
Got it. Now, so you've got the distributorship, you're helping train people. Now you've also started a fireplace division.
Yep.
And that's run out of where?
The fireplace run out of Rockland.
Okay. And tell me about that. How did that start?
Fireplace, it was a complement for insulation.
Started when? When did you start doing it?
Fireplace was started in 2000. Actually, I started Fireplace in 2017. 2017. But Fireplace started small. But today, actually next month, we're going to inaugurate a fireplace showroom. We have a fireplace showroom, a full 3 VFW drive in Rockland. We're gonna have a nice fireplace. We install a very good unit fireplace out there, and the fireplace is a good complement. We in a job site already. Hey, you know what? We do a fireplace. We sell gas, wood stove, and electrical fireplace. And we sell the unit and we install the unit. We deliver the product. It's finished product.
Got it.
Doesn't need much guy. Doesn't need a lot of labor because it's a finished product. But yeah, we do fireplace, a nice unit.
Okay, awesome. So I appreciate all that. That was, I did not know all that, so thank you. And that's a great story. So now we're gonna pivot a little bit and we're gonna talk about one of my favorite subjects, accessory dwelling units,
Yeah.
okay? And so you've been doing my work now for a little over a year, I think.
Yep.
The first job, and I have to compliment you. So we had been using another competitor, which I'm not gonna name their name, for a long time. And they were busy, and they couldn't accommodate the schedule. And their work, quite frankly, the job was always a little messy. You know, there was a little cleanup, but I was like, you know, I've been with these guys a long time, and I'm a guy that's loyal. I'm not quick to, you know, they were having a bad day. I'm not one of these guys that they had one bad day, I throw them off the job, right? So it had been building up for some time, and then they having labor problems. I don't remember what it was, and then Kevin said, you know, let's try Jesus in advance. So had you come in and do a job. I don't remember the job. Kevin, do you remember the job? Yeah, Avini. Yeah.
Avini.
Yeah, so Avini down in Falmouth, and it was my, you know, really my first larger, I've built and sold a couple companies, and this was my first larger new job for BuildX, right? I've obviously built a lot of other houses, but this was my first BuildX job, and that client was very important to me. Known him since 1991, you know, done a bunch of business with him. He's a banker. And it was definitely not someone I wanted to let down. So Kevin said, well, let's try these guys. And I did. And I met your crew on site. They were very polite. You know, I walked them around. We showed them what I wanted. There was some tricky stuff. There was a mix of bat and foam, and there was some blown in as well. It had a little bit of that job had a little bit of everything. And I got to tell you, that is the neatest job site that I've ever had turned back to me from any contractor ever. And I was like, wow, I don't know if they're just doing this because it's the first job, right? It's the first job. We want to make an impression. And then we did another one, and the same thing, like all the wall studs were perfectly cleaned, all the corners were cleaned out. You know, it was a first-class job, and your guys do that all the time. So all that training that you're doing is paying off, because when the guys come, they're fully prepared, the truck's stocked, they know exactly what they're doing, there's no nonsense, there's no pointing, there's no, gee, we don't know what the work order is. They come in, they get right to work. They're usually done that day, gone, and the job is crystal clean. So hats off to you, and I'm a tough guy to work for, so if you've impressed me, you've done a lot.
Appreciate it.
So that's how we got to know each other, and then since then, you've done a whole bunch of work for me. I have no idea how many jobs, but a lot.
You've been blessing for us.
And then, you know, we started down this ADU journey last year, and after doing the first one, I really, you know, that was a personal job, if you will, for a personal friend that I'd known a long time. And we decided to do some open houses. And in that open house process, I got to speak to about 60 different families. You know, from 2 people to 5, some would show up at the open house.
Wow.
And hear their stories about why they wanted an accessory dwelling unit. And that got me really excited about it. And the more I talked about it, the more I wanted to do it. And the more I wanted to do it, the more I talked about it, and more or less talked myself into it. So super glad I did. And so, you know, every week we're adding a new plan to our website, and we have a whole bunch under construction and a whole bunch pre-sold. And one of the questions that has come up is, you know, how am I going to insulate that? And at one point, you and I had a conversation, just take you back to this. I had not done a crawl space in forever. Like, I don't even remember when it was. It was probably 30 years ago since the last time I'd done a crawl space. Everything's always been a full foundation. But unfortunately, with the way they wrote the accessory dwelling unit bylaw, the state law, they count the basement towards the square footage. So in most towns, that precludes having a full basement. So that forced us to either a slab or a crawl space. I am not a slab proponent. I feel like the people are going to be miserable there living on a cold concrete. Yes, you can insulate it, do a bunch of things, but to me, a slab is not good for this environment. It's fine if you're in South Carolina or Texas or whatever, but
I agree with you.
It doesn't work here. So, I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I called you up and said, what am I going to do with this crawl space? I'm nervous that I'm going to have all this fiberglass insulation. And again, in my past lives, I've taken a lot of buildings apart, thousands. And I've been in crawl spaces that someone else built, and they're either full of mold, full of rodents, dead cats, right? The whole 9 yards. And I don't want that for my clients. So I actually called the HERS rater first and said, what should I do? And he said, call you. So I called you.
Call Jesus.
Yeah, call Jesus.
What?
Right?
Call Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. So I called Jesus, and you explained to me about how we're going to do the spray foam, the close cell, from the rim joist down the face of the concrete and then across the dirt. Because my normal reaction would be to put like a Stego wrap on the floor, roll it up the wall with a termination strip. But now I don't have any insulation in the floor. So now we have the closed cell, goes down the wall, across the floor, and and that's going to act as your vapor barrier, and it's also going to keep it as a conditioned area, and it's going to be much harder for rodents and mice and all those things to happen. So
mice doesn't go through it.
Yeah. So I appreciate that insight. So that that led me to, okay, now we have that solved, and then so now we're now the next evolution for me is I have some customers talking about how can I make my ADU net zero.
Yeah.
Right.
We can. For sure. Yeah,
so let's talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. We've been doing, actually the first net zero was done in Massachusetts. We did the first net zero house. So, and we did a net.
When you say you did it, you insulated it.
I insulated, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we like the project so much, we kind of merge yourself with, when you want to do a net zero project, you start since the beginning. So, and I got a chance to insulate in the first house, first net zero house was done in Mass. And yes, you can do it. And not only that, we did a couple of net zero house complete off the grid. Can be done nowadays. Yes. So as I saw it in your beautiful compact building, you have a lot of solar right here. So if you have a great insulation in your project, you can for sure you can insulation. You can do a net zero ADU, complete net zero, and you can run this whole ADU on solar. Because when you do a nice insulation, a well done insulation, you're not gonna have a much loss in a house. That's the problem. A lot of people just treat insulation as a secondary job. All right, just all right, go ahead, throw some bats. There's gonna be cover. Perfect. No, don't worry. Yeah, you're right. So we're not gonna insulation. It's not that beautiful to be live exposed. We're gonna dry all in plaster and painting, blah 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 blah. But remember, the insulation gonna hold your heat and your AC in a house forever. You can change the paint, you can change the floor, you can change the carpet, you can change the shingle on the roof on outside the house, but your insulation, you have to rip everything. You're not gonna do that.
You start over.
Yeah, you're not gonna do that.
It's like having a bad foundation.
Exactly, you're not gonna do that. So that's why it's very important you plan ahead in doing a well-done installation, doing right.
Yeah.
And
so let's talk about that. So what makes an installation job right?
It's perfect. Okay, do installation. We do all type of installation. I'm not against bad installation. I'm not. As long as you do it right. And spray foam. A lot of people resist with the spray foam. Oh, I don't like the spray foam because the spray foam can be smelled. The spray foam is a chemical. So when you do it right, when you know how to do it, when you deal with someone having over a decade experience doing this, for sure, as a 95% chance these people doing your job right. So one thing we do is to do the installation right, we started since the beginning. So our product and our material, we store our material inside the warehouse above 65 degrees.
So your warehouse is conditioned.
A whole warehouse is conditioned. We have a warehouse is conditioned. And our truck is all plug and heat. What does it mean? What the truck has to do with my installation?
So it goes from the warehouse and it goes into the truck. And the truck is heated from the engine running to keep the chemicals warm.
Yes, our truck. We own the company, build our own truck. Our truck was built prepared for this climate zone. because in the winter we are below zero. If you pump chemical below zero, your spray foam rig was not prepared for sure you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure you're gonna have a
Now
problem.
let's talk about that. So somebody comes, does a spray job, spray foam for me. After the first day or two, how do I know it's bad? Like, how do I know something bad happened?
Do you know the closed cell spray foam took at the first moment to up to 6 months to finish the cooking process. It took like 6 months to complete finish.
So to
Cured.
finish off gassing is 6 months.
Yes, finish cure. So the closed cell can be cracking and after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months after you spray. If you spray off a shield, it's very important. Oh, it looked nice, great, look nice, look good now. If it was doing wrong, if it was pump cold material, and next month or two, they're gonna pull out of the wall. It's gonna crack. And after closing, hey.
All right, so somebody comes spray foam, closed cell, and it's done, and I look at it for a week, and then I'm ready to hang drywall. I don't really know if it's done right.
Yes.
So I have to trust the installer.
You have to trust. That's why important you deal with the
So
company.
again, if you have Advance shows up and you're at XYZ and your competitor shows up at a little bit less, it's probably better off to go with the guy that really knows what he's doing, because it's going to be a lot of work to rip that house apart to get to a problem installation where you can't see that it wasn't done right.
For sure, for sure. And not only in that, but I bring this a lot to my training. Installation owners, installation salesperson, they have to know how to read a HERS report. They have to know where they're gonna go. You know, they have to take a HERS report and look and say, yes, I need a 27 wall, or I need a 21 wall, I need a 16 roof. What
All
kind
right,
of installation?
let me stop you there, because not everybody knows what a HERS report is. So a HERS report is the home energy rating system,
Yes, sir.
and we're going to pivot to that in a second. And on that report, it tells me, the builder, so I've sent my plans to them, and they've done their modeling, and actually have Andrew coming here today, and we're going to talk about that. And we've got our modeling done, and I've got a report, and it says I need R60, R21, R30, yada, yada, yada. So you're saying your salesman needs to know how to read that report to get me the product installed that's going to meet that report.
Perfect. That's very important. If your salesperson, because the code is being changed a lot. You know,
Sure.
it's since 2012. Every year, everybody sit at the table and talk about new code. So it's tough to follow. But it's in the HERS report. Long as you follow the HERS report, yes, you can do it. So back a little bit, how you can build a net zero ADU, net zero house. Yeah, you have your cavern. So you're gonna fill your cavern. Let's say you're gonna put an R27 on a 2x6. Or you can put a R30 on a 2x6 walls. You can put a couple inches closed cell, 2 inches closed cell, and top it off with open cell. Or you can fill them up everything with a closed cell, like 4 or 5 inches closed cell. You can get R30, perfect. But for net zero, I really recommend you fill the cavern. So you're gonna put like 2 inches closed cell and fill the rest with open cell.
Now, for a while, so for a while, people were doing what I call flash and bat, right? So
Yeah.
they were putting 2 inches or an inch of closed cell on the wall, and then they were putting the fiberglass in.
Okay.
And that seems like that's gone away.
You know why? Because this is a type and combination. It can be done, but it's very dangerous if you don't know how to do it. You know why? Because when you have a lot of people, they don't know about that. When you do a flash and bat, you're gonna put a 2 inches closed cell or 1.5 inches in closed cell, and the nail from the shingle. If you don't cover with the closed cell, it's a perfect thermal breaching from outside
Yeah,
to
so the
inside.
end of that nail start to condensate.
Started condensation. You're gonna have a big problem. Especially down in the Cape.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a big problem.
Yeah, I heard someone was telling me about a house they're gutting it right now because of that reason they did. So what happened was they did a flash and bat,
Yep.
and then the building inspector made them put poly on the inside,
Double vapor barrier.
and the outside already had the blue skin.
Yeah.
And so now they had a perfect contain, and there was nails showing,
Yep.
and they all condensate, and every bay is full of mold.
Exactly. You know why? The insulation profession should cut that. But if you don't have experience enough, they're gonna let it go because they didn't know. So that's why I highly recommend my customer. I'm not against the flash and bat, so it's an old system to do it. But the best way to do is, if you want to go that way, make sure you carve all the nail.
Got it.
Just make sure the nail is carved bearing an insulation. If you bear an insulation, the nail, it's perfect, fine, not a big deal. But if you don't do that, couple inches closed cell, top it off with open cell, you're gonna have a perfect solid bay with the spray
Yeah, I
foam.
like that product a lot. So what causes us to say we're gonna do 2 inches of closed cell and then to fill the rest with open cell? It's a budgetary.
So definitely. So if you want to go, if you're gonna go that way, 2 inches closed cell, flash and bat. If you're gonna go hybrid, they call hybrid, 2 inches closed and top it off with the open, you can cut the cost in 75% if instead of going 100% closed cell.
So it's a significant savings.
Significant. But for net zero, Buzz, I recommend fill the
whole
bay
thing. Yeah,
because
whole thing.
that pocket between the insulation, the closed cell, the 5 inches closed cell, and the drywall you're gonna have some problem because what can fail a house? Where do you
Wait,
net
I'm going to
zero?
stop you there because people aren't understanding what you're saying, and I want to just ask you, make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. So it's been my experience when you fill a 2x, and I'm just going to pick on 2x6s, right? We fill a 2x6 cavity with closed cell. You can't fill it all the way because it's not really trimmable. It's not right.
It's too expensive.
Yeah, and so you come out say 4.5
4.5.
inches. Right, so now you have anywhere from a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inch gap behind that to the drywall.
Yes.
And what you're saying is that gap can be problematic.
Can be problematic, especially for the hers. So because between the closed cell and the drywall, we're gonna have a 1/2 inch and an inch gap.
Right.
So in that gap, the sheet rock started from the plate, from the bottom to the plate.
Right.
Perfect. All right. So how we can resolve? If you want to go that way, I'm gonna highly recommend to do air seal on the bottom and the top. Otherwise,
yeah, because you're gonna get air transfer inside that. Right.
Exactly. On the electrical box, the air is gonna go through that, gonna go to the bottom or going to the top. You're gonna have a 5 inches closed cell, 4 inches closed cell. You're gonna pay for the priming. So let's say I have a 4 inches closed cell on my wall. I spend that much money. I'm a golden insulation. But guess what? So it doesn't do any good because of the drywall, the gap in the air is gonna go behind the gap.
You're gonna have some transference.
Exactly.
No matter what you do.
How are you gonna fix that?
So the best system in your mind is the hybrid.
Hybrid.
So we do 2 inches of closed cell. And the reason you do that first is that acts as the vapor barrier?
Yes, acts as vapor barrier and helping on our volume. You can get R30 with that.
Okay. And then we fill the rest 100% with the open cell.
Open cell.
And the reason we use the open cell is because you can trim it.
You can trim
and
it.
It's flush with the joist.
Exactly.
With the wall studs.
And flush to the drywall. And how I'm gonna pass my blow door test in net zero. It's very important. Build a net zero. It's not everybody out there. It's not only about insulation, but net zero. It's not only, you cannot blame the insulation when you fail the net zero. The building has to be built, framing.
There's a lot of things.
But the insulation it's a
how
big
much
part.
zip tape got put on? Did they seal the windows?
Everything.
There's a lot of details.
But the thing is, if you want to build net zero, you want to avoid the air seal, you're not going to pass.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
Let's think about it.
Wait. I'm going to pivot on the foam thing. So I currently have a customer that is very sensitive to any off-gassing of any materials. So they already have an autoimmune disease, right? So they're not interested in any foam. They're not interested in any OSB. We're going all plywood. And so what about these new timber bats? Timber bats. So is that a good solution for that client?
It is. Every customer, they're so sensitive with the chemical, which is a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
And out of the bat, and I say, don't do it. Yes, don't do it. We ask our customer, so are you okay with the spray foam? Why? No, because if you're sensitive with the chemical, or any type of latex, don't go with the spray foam. Don't go with spray foam. Just try different product. Oh, I don't like the fiberglass. Timber HP. Timber HP have a great product. They have a timber bat and timber field, so you can insulate them.
Right. So basically, timber bat is the evolution of cellulose, but now it's turned into a bat.
So
it's the same material. It's a wood fiber that's been treated and turned into a bat.
Yeah.
Now, I did see that at the JLC show. My question for you, and I haven't seen it installed, is if we know we're using timber bats, we really need to get the electrician to run his wires up and down the studs and not across.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because otherwise, you got to cut all those bats. You got to try to fit them in.
Yeah.
Right? So the typical wiring is going to go across the studs, and now that's all you're going to cut in all those bats. So if we know we're going that way, we really should have the electrician spend a little more money on wire, go up the studs, go up the top, and run down the studs, and you're going to get a better job.
Exactly. It's easy for the install, and the timber.
Yeah, well, it's less cuts.
Less
right?
cuts.
Less cuts is going to less leaks.
Yep, exactly. And the timber was a solid product, and was complete. It's made to fit in a tube on a 16 or 15 center. 15.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of cutting in the field.
Exactly.
You got to cut around the outlets.
Exactly. If you can be able to avoid that, hey, everybody gonna appreciate it, and the end you're gonna get a better result for sure.
So we did timber bats in the walls, right? Now we're gonna blown in timber bat in the ceiling, in the attic, right? What are we doing in the basement ceiling? Timber bats?
Timber bat. You can timber bat.
So how is that gonna? Can we make our HERS rating work with that product?
Yes, for sure. Actually, the HERS, they have I'm not quite sure is that how it works, but they have a better point on the HERS when you use a timber field. They can drop.
Yeah, you do get a credit.
They get a credit.
I think it's 3 points.
3 point for sure. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You get a 3 point credit on the HERS when you use
on your rating, right?
When a rating.
So if you were going spray foam and you scaled in at 46 and you needed to get to 43, you could switch to timber bat and get to 43.
Exactly.
And you're getting that for a bunch of reasons, but mainly because of the sustainability of that material.
Exactly.
Versus spray foam, which obviously is a chemical.
And
now, before we get off of that, what is the spray foam blowing agent now? What is the agent that they use to blow it? Is it soy? Is it corn based? Or what is the blowing agent now?
Two different things. The open cell, the blowing agent is water. The open cell, it's based.
So that's all water based.
Water based. And the closed cell, it's not. The closed cell, majority of the closed cell, it's the blowing agent. It's gas like petroleum. So
so it's a chemical.
Chemical. It's still chemical.
So the sweet spot, if we need to use some
open cell
foam, we're going to go open cell because it's really just water based.
Water based. Open cell is.
So there's much less off gassing.
The off gas, the open cell, it's just only in the moment you apply the product.
And then it's done.
That's it. Soon you apply the product, and of course you're gonna give it 24 hours for
you gotta
clean up the place.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's it. The open cell, it's not a water. It's a water base. It's not water resist. But the closed cell, it's
right. But the problem of filling the whole wall with open cell is now we've eliminated our vapor barrier.
We have to add the vapor barrier on top.
Yeah. So we would add it on the outside or the inside?
Inside. We add in that case, we add to the side.
Now, one of the things that I was recently admitted of, and guilty as charged, years ago, we used to put a lot of poly on top of fiberglass, right? So fiberglass wall, put on the 6-min poly, staple up, keep going, right? So now it's my understanding is we really shouldn't use poly anymore. We have to use a specific product that's going to keep the water barrier and keep the condensation out of the wall, but it's also going to allow the wall to breathe a little bit.
Yeah, they call it a membrana. So the membrana, the plastic poly. So
it's not Home Depot plastic.
No, it's not Home Depot.
It's a specific product.
It's specific.
So if somebody goes into their house and they just had their house insulated and they see regular poly on the wall, that's a red flag.
Yes.
That something's bad's gonna happen. Maybe not today.
Maybe not tomorrow. But
maybe 5 years from now, they're in their house and they're like, gee, this place smells like mold all the time. And they open up the wall and they find all the walls are black on the inside.
Yes. So the membrana poly.
No, I want to stress on that. So the problem in this business and all things construction is you don't know that it's a problem until later on, right? It's a massive deferred liability, right? And that's why you need to make sure that the people doing the work know what they're doing.
Know what they're doing, yeah. Because a lot of people going by the numbers. A lot of people give you the best number. They use the cheap product.
Yeah, that's
you know.
my point. Right.
It's important. I'm gonna give an example. The vapor, a 4 mil rolling poly costs $25. The rolling 4 mil vapor barrel costs $150 a roll.
Right. So 6 times the money.
6 times the money, but it's gonna give you.
It's going to work the way it's intended, and you're not going to. So the bid might be, your bid might be $600 more than the other guy.
How much costs your house?
Exactly. What's it worth to you later on when you find out the guy used cheap product and now your house is destroyed?
Exactly.
I just had a customer come in 3-4 weeks ago, and they ended up actually, he ended up having a mold problem because they had a double vapor barrier, different one from the one I said earlier, and they ended up actually having to tear that house down.
Oh my God.
Tear it down completely. And the only reason they knew they had a problem, same thing, he was sitting in his kitchen, and he's always smelling mold, he's cleaning, can't figure it out. His friend comes over, he said, gee, your whole house smells like mold. He said, I don't get it, I'm cleaning all the time, my wife's cleaning all the time, we're doing the laundry, like, it shouldn't smell like mold, we don't have any pets, like, it doesn't make any sense. So his friend said, hey, let's just look in the wall, break a hole in the wall. So the guy says, all right, well, let's go in the pantry here, let's take a test cut. So they go downstairs, they get a little saw, they cut a hole out. The inside of the wall is black as this wall. Black.
Oh my God.
Right? He says, oh boy, maybe it's just a leak. They go to another room, cut a hole. Same thing. They go upstairs, they cut a hole.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So the house was only 2 or 3 years old. And they actually ended up 5 years later, lawsuits, everything else. The house ended up getting torn down.
Okay. You know what this can, what this can be created by? A lot of people, they do, especially insulation. A lot of people, I don't want insulation in my house. I want to go with the fiberglass on the walls, which is totally fine. I want to do my block room joist with the crafting fiberglass. Was a horrible choice.
Yep.
Horrible choice. I want to do my California with the stuff, something that it's like the worst thing you can do it. And the blow on the main ceiling, I'm gonna just blow some fiberglass and call for the day. Perfect. You can throw some fiberglass if you don't know how to do your proper vents right. If the blowing cellulose clog all the soft.
Yeah. I've seen plenty of that.
Your house is gonna melt down.
Yeah.
Your house gonna leak all the way down. Your plywood's gonna rust. You're gonna have a black mold in the walls. Hey, it's gonna be a big problem, and that's exactly what's gonna happen in this house. I knew this for a fact because we've been through a lot of houses.
Now, the other thing that's kind of happening in the industry, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like fiberglass is almost the same price now as the spray foam, or it's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
It used to be a big difference, right? Big spread. Now it seems like fiberglass is kind of caught up, if you will.
Yeah, because there's two facts happen. The fiberglass price keep going up every year.
The materials.
The material, the product itself, keep going up in every year because there's only few company out there.
Okay, so
yes.
limited choices.
Yeah, JM, On Corners, and Canalf. There's only 3 companies just majority.
Yeah. So they own the market.
And in every 10 new insulation company out there, out of 10, 8 doing spray foam. It's more competitive price out there. That's why you see the insulation, the fiberglass price going up and the spray foam going down. That's the reason.
And obviously, it seems to me there's less labor with the spray foam.
When you know how to do it is.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to pivot back to the accessory dwelling unit. So we want to build net zero. So for people that don't know, that basically means you're generating as much power as you using, right? It's not a passive house. That's not what we're talking about. We're essentially saying we're going to put some type of solar panel system on the roof to generate the equivalent power that we use during the year.
Perfect.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
But the key to that, as you said, is not only does it need to be insulated right, but it needs to be air sealed, and we need to make sure the house is going to breathe on top of that by installing an ERV.
Exactly.
Right?
And one thing, Buzz, I want to just bring him back about the closed cell on a crawl space. There was a type, I don't know the name, but we can search. There was a type gas on a dirt. It's dangerous. Radon. The radon gas. And the closed cell on a foundation, it's eliminated the radon.
Yeah, blocks it.
Block the radon almost 100%. That's
Yeah,
the only way you can get over the radon. It's spray closed cell, or you can spray closed cell, and if you don't want to see the closed cell, you can spray closed cell and concrete on top, or you can spray closed cell on a crawl space, leave up to the foundation, you're all set, totally encapsulated.
So here's an interesting one for you, and this just came up. So have a project we're going to be doing in Marshfield. That customer actually just hired us today, and they know for a fact, because they've lived there a long time, that in whatever reason this area of Marshfield has a lot of termites, right? A lot of termites. And so the house he built currently there's a lot of foundation showing, and he put termite shield on. Now this is an accessory dwelling unit we're going to be doing, and I'm going to put you on the spot here and see what your opinion is, okay? So as he was telling me this, I was thinking about this closed cell, and now I'm nervous about doing it with his house because the closed cell is going to hide everything, and if the termites get in there, they're going to be able to build a tunnel up behind the closed cell and get into the house, and we're never going to be able to see them. So what do we know about that?
Okay, perfect. The closed cell we're using for foundation, it's like a almost 3 pounds closed cell.
No, I know it's tough. I've been in there beating on it.
Yes.
The first one you did, I went in there with a hammer to see how strong it was, and it's strong.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible to going through that, for sure. It's the.
But they start from the underside. The termites start from underneath. They come up from the dirt, right? And now they need the reason they're going up is they need food. So they come down for the water,
Yep.
right? And they go up for the food.
Perfect. But one thing you're gonna do, you're gonna merge the closed cell. The closed cell, we're gonna seal the closed cell. They can start from the knee, but we're gonna seal the closed cell to the top of the foundation.
No, I get that, but I'm nervous about them tunneling between the concrete, the back of the concrete, and the closed cell.
You're not gonna wave into maiden. You're not gonna wave into maiden.
So okay, we're gonna explore this more, and we're not figure it out today, right? The job's a little way off, but I think the safety of this is we have some copper termite shield built, right? We stick it on top of the 8-inch wall. We have it come out 2 inches front and 2 inches inside, so outside and inside, and we have it turned down at say a 15-degree angle, 2 inches hanging over. Actually, we'll have to go a little more, right? So 3 inches on the inside, 1.5 inches on the outside, so a custom bend, right? And now we spray foam, so the copper's here, we spray foam up to the bottom of it. That way there, when the termite gets to the copper, he has to go outside and then around the copper and back in.
It's not gonna wave into maiden.
Right, not gonna. Well, they don't like the copper. As soon as they hit copper, they turn around because of the whatever's in the copper. They can sense it, right? And number two, if that does happen, we'll be able to see the tunnel.
Exactly. But listen, there was a product, and probably you didn't use in that. It's for concrete, for this it's spray foam for concrete. We can use like a 3 pounds closed cell. It's 2 times harder than the one you've been saw.
Really?
Yeah. It's that
so
product.
It's stronger than the regular closed
It's stronger. It's really strong. It's really.
When it says 3 pounds, what does that mean? 3 pounds per what?
The density of the product.
Well, what's that measurement? Per cubic foot?
Per cubic foot. Yeah.
So normal is how many cubic?
The material used now, it's like 1.8 2 pounds.
Okay, so this is 3.
3 pounds close cell. This product was made into spray on a roof. You spray outside on the roof and walk on one. Down in Texas, a lot of people, they using closed cell outside on the roof. There's some job was being done here, closed cell from outside. And this material.
So it's the finished roof surface.
Finished roof surface. You spray and you do silicone. Call for the day. It's there
and
forever.
then you spray on top of that for something to waterproof it.
We spray silicone for waterproof on top. The closed cell is a water resist, but you spray silicone to seal everything. It's done. There's a lot of down Texas and south. It's a lot of job we're doing like that. And that same product we're using for doing to some particular spot like this for mice.
Sure, yeah.
And to stop the radon. I'm telling you, there was a lot of people living in 7, 8, $10 million home.
Oh yeah,
it's dying
lots of
by radon.
Yeah, and it's a silent killer.
It's silent killing.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and using that product, and when you build the house, you're gonna spend, how much costs a life? 10 grand?
No, listen, you don't have to sell me on using quality materials. That's what I built my business on. We don't buy cheap stuff. I refuse to, listen, we make mistakes and we go rip them out. It happens occasionally. I understand that, but I'm saying, we do our very best And the other thing is, I don't use the newest thing that's come out yesterday. I wait a while.
Exactly.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Wait for the second version.
Yeah.
Always the second version.
Yeah. So that's an interesting point. Oh, let's talk. So what territory do you cover? We haven't talked about that.
Yes, we have a shop in Vineyards, Martha's Vineyard, Oak Bluffs, Martha's Vineyards. We have a location in Martha's Vineyard.
Okay, so you have a physical location in Martha's Vineyard.
And we have an office run out of Martha's Vineyards. Alvaro, he's a guy just run a location in Martha's Vineyards. We have a location in Rockland, and we have a location in Worcester. We have a location in Hooksett, New Hampshire.
Hooksett, New Hampshire.
Yeah, we cover.
So what's your? Do you go to Maine? I mean,
we
where
cover
do you
Maine,
go?
Rhode Island, New Hampshire, and Connecticut, and whole Mass, of course.
So that's a big territory.
Yeah. Well, we have 220 guys, 55 crews. We need a job. We need to work.
Yeah.
And we try.
Well, that's why we're here today, right? We want everybody to know how great you are.
Appreciate
Get
it.
you more business. So let's explore that radon a little more. So if we're building a crawl space, now there's areas where radon is known to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get up into Rockland, when there's a lot of stone in the ground, so radon is a byproduct of the decay of stone, right, of rock, right? And so when you have a very sandy area, it's not to say you can't have radon, but it definitely reduces the chances of that. But if we quote unquote know that this area is susceptible to radon, and we use the 3-pound foam, right, we've kind of eliminated that chance of that radon building up in the structure.
Yes. So, and the thing is, then a lot of people are going to say, well, hold on a second, Jesus. I can use in poly, 6 mil or 10 mil poly, and it does the same job. Yeah, you're right. So let's put it this way. You're going to lay your poly on the floor, okay? You're going to lay your 6 mil, 10 mil poly on the floor and bring up to the wall, and you're going to put in, you're going to be all ready for the concrete. And guess what? The concrete truck going to show up. They're going to pour the concrete, but someone have to step in to
100%. I've seen guys
work in the concrete.
I've seen guys cut it so that the water will go out of it.
That's
Believe
it.
me.
So
Believe me, I know.
if they don't cut, but the
I've seen guys
yeah.
take their shovels and start banging holes in it because they want the water
and
to come
someone
out
with
of
the
it.
boots is gonna step in, and they're gonna make a holes on a poly. And guess what? You $3,000, $2,000 poly or whatever stable you have on the floor is gonna get ripped out is gonna get damaged by someone with the boots, with the work boots.
100%.
So you're not gonna have the guy took the boots to.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a minute. You said something I never thought of. Is spray foam and then pour concrete.
Yes, that's one
So
thing.
tell me about that. Do we use the 3-pound for that?
We use the 3 pounds.
Okay.
A lot of people out there, they using 2 pounds concrete. Great cut. You're smart, man. So a lot of people using 2 pounds or 1.8 pound closed
standard closed cell.
Standard closed cell.
And then put concrete.
What's not made for. If you have like a small area, it's
yeah.
totally fine.
Little
when
10 by 12,
yes,
whatever.
When you have a large basement, so the closed cell is gonna sag and your floor is gonna crack.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's why it's
Concrete doesn't like to move.
Yes, and the closed cell is gonna move.
Yeah.
So that's why important. First,
so the 3-pound is going to be strong enough to support that.
It's gonna support that. You can support much weight as you can.
So this goes back to the installer knowing what he's doing, right? How does he ensure the thickness? Is he putting like a depth gauge in as he going? He has depth strips. What do they do?
The closed cell on the floor on a dirt. It's done by 3 purposes. First big one, make sure you're not gonna get killed in your $2-3 million house by radon. It's very important.
Got that.
And second, you're gonna make sure your concrete's not gonna, the moist is not gonna make your floor buckle up, sweat, a little cold.
Yeah.
Okay, it's horrible.
I've seen that.
It's horrible. And the vapor barrier, it's very important. The vapor barrier, it's important.
No, but my question was when the installer's spraying it.
Yeah.
How does he keep the depth consistent?
You need between 1.5 inches and 2 inches closed cell.
Yeah, but how does he know that it's that thick?
Yeah, we have a small to measure the depth.
All right, so he's checking it as he's
checking.
going.
No, he has going to be checking.
Yeah.
And some build out there, they doing beautiful job. They put a line on a
snap a line
snap
for you.
a line, And what we do, we spray and we kind of make the envelope. We bring it up, the closed cell up to the wall. Why? When you spray the wall, we merge this closed cell.
Okay, so you're in first.
Yes.
You spray the under dirt.
Exactly.
You run it up the wall 6 inches, 8 inches, whatever.
A lot of people put a crash stone. We spray on top of the crash stone.
Sure.
And we just spray 2 inches, 3 inches, depending the height, the base. You
Sure.
can spray how many inches, how much. You have to check the height.
Yeah, so you're going to come up the wall a little bit, and then later on, after they put whatever, you'll come and finish it spraying.
You merge it. So you can frame and merge my closed cell. First, you're not going to get killed by radon. Second, your floor is going to be always up. You can have a wood floor in your basement. It's not going to buckle up. And third, you're going to have the best vape berry ever. Best vapor berry ever.
Now, to me, and again, this is off the cuff, to me, in my head now, I'm sitting here thinking, I really need, especially if I'm doing crushed stone, I really need to put a pipe that's going to go out through the roof to catch any gas that's trapped underneath. Right?
Great question. So what happened is when you do a poly, 10-wheel poly, and the concrete guy is gonna step on my poly, so the radon gas is gonna
find a way.
It's gonna find a way, and your job's gonna fail. When you have 2 inches closed cell all the way around, so the gas is gonna try to pop in the closed cell. It's impossible. He's gonna find the way. He's gonna find the pipe.
So we want to make a pipe for it.
Exactly. We're gonna make a pipe. There was a small radon pit. He's gonna suck the gas out, blow outside the house, and your family and yourself is complete safety.
Yeah. So interesting side story. So if you know this from the beginning, if you put the pipe in while you're building the house and put it up through the roof all the way as high as you can and stick it out about 4 feet out of the roof, that chimney effect will be almost as strong as running a blower motor.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's something new.
Yeah, and the other trick is paint where the pipe comes out of the roof, paint it black. And the sun, with the chimney effect and that pipe being hot, the chimney effect, you wouldn't believe how strong the air comes out of that.
Wow.
So I like that. So Kevin, we're gonna add that to our mix. Is Kevin still here? He left us? All right, Kevin. Bailed on us.
Oh,
Anyways,
God,
we're gonna add that. We're gonna add that to our repertoire of crawl spaces. So we have one coming up. Actually, it's our first crawl space. You know, the last one we did was a full foundation because of the circumstances, but this one's in a crawl space. So we're gonna have you come. We're gonna do the closed cell and up the walls and onto the rim. But ahead of time, we're gonna add a small. This is all sand here, but as a safety, I'm gonna add that pipe ahead of time and plan on piping that up through the roof. So I know, right, that I've taken all the precautions I can so that those people don't get sick down the road.
Like everybody said, better than safe than sorry.
Yeah, I'd rather spend $300 on a piece of pipe.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just do it. And plus, guys, you know, every house was built, it's for life. If you live in a house or not, if you sell a house or not, someone gonna spend a life in a house.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's important done right.
And the other thing is, and this really doubles down on ADUs, most of the people that are building an ADU are in the house a lot, right, because of the demographics. So if there is radon in there, they're going to be breathing it even more, right? So you want to do everything you can to make sure that you make it safe as possible. And that's why I tell my customers, not all ADUs are created equal. Not all insulation companies are created equal, right? Not all details are created equal. Not all products are created equal, right? And we need to find that sweet spot where we're building the best structure we possibly can by obviously still giving a value for the money.
Yes,
right?
For sure. Especially for us, you know, I look into you. My goal is just be in your spot. I'm gonna be honest too. Hey, listen, build a great reputation, build a business, and being knowing you did things right. So it's nothing bad. You just, you know, met with someone on a Dunkin' Donuts. You did a job for them like 30 years ago. Say, you did my house. That was great. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you should mention that. So I have a customer that called me. I built this house in 1989.
Oh my God!
Right?
When I was born 1989. Actually.
And the skylight finally failed. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, and he's like, hey, I need, help replacing the skylight. And normally I would say, listen, I'm sorry, I don't do small jobs, but, I built this house.
Hey.
And he's still the original owner from when I built the house. And so, we're going to work that out and get it done for him. But it was pretty funny, that you mentioned that,
It was amazing.
And and listen, my phone number's changed a bunch since 1989.
He track you down, right?
He did. Well,
it's easy,
on the internet now, right? So, but it was fun talking, and we were, joking about the old days and building it and talking about the process. And that was a bit of a zoning nightmare, that house. I remember, after he started telling me the story, I remember it was an older house that we had to tear down and build a new house. But back then, you had to use some of the old house. So we actually took some of the wall and tied it to a tree and pretended we were going to use it.
Okay.
And then we built a new house, and then mysteriously the old wall disappeared.
Right, happened.
Yeah,
someone stole it. It's a win night. It's someone. Yeah, it's okay. It happened. But listen,
we were joking about that. It was a good laugh.
That's great. But listen, that's the beauty. That's the great paycheck. There's nothing better than this.
Yeah.
And can I tell you something? He's tracking down because you did a great job. If you did a horrible job, he had your address and your dog's name and your pickup, your plate truck, everything, because the people chase others. And plus it is, Buzz, listen, let's charge him for the job, but let's do the job right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
no, I refuse to do anything halfway.
Yeah.
Listen, have I made mistakes? Absolutely. But
it's happened.
we go and fix them. That's just the way it is, right? Things are going to happen.
Been in business for 13 years, Buzz. I learned something. Yeah, mistakes gonna happen, but call me. I will let me know. I'll fix. No matter we're gonna take it. There is no mistake and out there is not gonna be able to fix. And my mistake was not done
as
by
long
purpose.
as they tell you early.
Yes. Yeah. That we can fix. We definitely can fix. Don't run out of problem. If a problem knock your door, just ask by the name.
Exactly. Yeah. If you turn and run from your problems, they double in strength.
For sure.
100%.
For sure.
If you face them head on, you can deal with them.
For sure.
All right, so now the lightning round. You ready for the lightning round?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and some of these may or may not apply to you. So if they say they don't apply, so favorite tool you can't live without currently?
Oh, favorite tool I can't live out. Oh my God. On my phone?
I knew you were going to say that.
My phone. Yeah. I want to get it sometime, but I need.
Dream project you'd love to work on?
I want to build a house with the bus, BuildX.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we can make that one happen.
We can build a house together. You build my own house. My wife want to build a house. Yeah. Oh my God. I hope she doesn't do that.
That's our dream product. All right. Best piece of advice you ever received?
Don't give up. The best advice. The best advice I received I was under the bridge, and someone told me, if we're gonna live in Boston, you gotta be prepared because the winter under the bridge it's tough.
Yeah, I bet.
And myself give me advice is yes, you didn't move into this country for live under the bridge. You came to this country to be a successful businessman.
Well, you've done it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, and then this one's going to tie into that one. So advice you would give your younger self, and you can't say don't give up.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Work hard. Today is worse. Tomorrow probably is going to be worse than today, but keep it up when you're going to meet him, for sure.
All right. Parting thoughts that you want to leave the audience?
Hey, listen, my plan is keeping building a strong company for my team. First, you're gonna looking for people with you and keeping the reputation in town, because of what this country given to me, what this land given to me, my job is doing the best for the people living here. That's my job. Whatever the project someone give me a chance to put a hands on, my job is to make sure they live well done.
Awesome. So again, I want to thank you for coming in today. I really learned a lot today.
Thank you.
Enjoyed having you as a guest. And I think we're gonna, once we've done a few more of these ADUs, we're gonna come in and dissect.
Yeah.
What you did on that project. Now that I was sitting here thinking about it, and I said to myself, once we get 3 or 4 done, we're going to come back and talk about, okay, what we learned,
Yep.
maybe what, the pipe, maybe we did, the termite job,
Exactly.
like what we discovered and why we discovered and why we chose to do what we did. So
Perfect.
I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll have you back in studio here in a
For
couple
sure.
days.
And I congratulations, man. Appreciate it. This is brilliant ideas.
Thank you.
It's amazing idea. And can I tell something? You inspiring for a young generation.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's our boys. You guys agree with me? Yeah. So I don't know how old you are. I'm not gonna ask.
I'm 64.
Oh my God. Yeah. 64. You're full with energy. You're doing things way better than us.
I don't know about that,
Yeah.
but I'm trying.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I appreciate that. That's a wrap today, episode of the BuildX Podcast at the Just Build Baby Studio.
Just build baby. I like that. I love it.
And we'll see you again soon.